So with the arrival of Mac OS 26 Tahoe, it marks the end of these things. T2 Macs. So what's T2? T2 is a security chip that was introduced by Intel. Makes it safer, that kind of business. So there are, I think, still a few Intel Macs that are supported by Tahoe, but anything with the T2, I think it's over. Now, if you look back on my channel, I've already done a video on installing Linux Mint on this machine, actually, on this Mac Mini. And it's a bit of an epic. It's sort of like, it's very involved and, it's not the simplest thing to do. So, as you can see by the title of the video, I tried to do an Omarchy installation on this today. And it's a whole different thing. It's literally just like installing a normal operating system. So there's sort of like gold to be had here if you think about it, because a lot of people will probably be ditching their Mac laptops and stuff like that with the T2 chips on because they can't carry them onto Tahoe. There could be some good deals to be had on eBay if you want to pick up one of these. I mean, I've got the cheapest chips one. This is an i3. I'll put the specs up. Cheapest chips one, but if you put like Linux on it and a highly optimized one like Omarchy, you've got a really good machine. I was trying to think about why they included the support for this like straight out of the box on Omarchy. It's probably because I suppose a lot of developers have Macs and people, the DHH, the guy who created Omarchy, he sort of was an ex-Mac guy, and I'm sure there's a lot of Mac laptops flying around there. If you get this thing like Omarchy on a powerful T2 laptop, it will just fly. So yeah, so it's really cool. So what I'll do, we'll just go through the installation process, and I'll point out some potential issues you could have when you're sort of doing it. And yeah, it won't take long. It's a really quick installation. It's really simple. There's a few mini gotchas at the beginning because of the T2, because it's a Mac, and they can't make it easy. But yeah, so let's dive in. Okay, so before I kick this off, there's a few prerequisites. You do need a USB keyboard and a USB mouse. You need to do this because I think it encrypts the disks as well. But you need it even before you get to Omarchy, because you need to hold down the Alt key to get into the Mac sort of boot screen, and that doesn't always work with wireless keyboards. But you don't need, on my previous one, you needed a hardwired connection to the internet to be able to do this. You don't on this because it actually finds the Broadcom drivers for you. Now, the machine I'm about to install it on has got Linux on it already, so there's nothing left from Mac on there already. Anyway, I'll start this video and you can see. So off it goes. There we are. So select the far right EFI boot when it comes up, and then it'll go into the installer. Now, because of my Mac, I've only got two USB ports, which I was using with the mouse and the keyboard. Then basically I had to put the USB key for the Omarchy installer through like a USB adapter to use, because it's got all the USB-C ports in the back. But I mean, you make the Omarchy installer totally normal way, Balenciaga, whatever, the normal way you'd make an ISO, a bootable ISO. And then basically there's a bit of a wait here where I'm thinking that hasn't worked. But then all of a sudden we've got this come up, which is great. So let's get rid of that as well. Just a bit of a wait. And then it's a bit slower. I mean, obviously I'm doing this on I think it detects it's T2. So jumps at the top, then you go into your standard installer. Now this is the standard Omarchy installer. Put my username in as normal. However, there's a comedy element I managed to introduce into this entire proceedings. The only keyboard in the house that I could use that was wired was my son's old gaming keyboard. Little did I know, because obviously when you're a gamer, you hammer like WSD and some reason the E key, that it messed the keys up. Anyway, we'll come to that later on in the program. You'll see what happened. Some of the keys don't work, so it was really confusing doing this. Anyway, so I got the time zone. I click yes. You can't dual boot this. I think there's a way that you can do it if you go through the pick your drive. There it is. This is literally the cheapest i3 Mac they did. It was like it was 8 gig of RAM. It's got 128 gig SSD. So it was i3. It was the lowest spec one, but it works pretty well with this. So now it goes through this thing. Now, if you watch this carefully, you can see it flashes up and it detects that it needs T2 on there in little parts. So it formats the drive, and then it goes off into its installation thing. So yeah, so I'm having a field day, as you've imagined from my channel. I'm having a field day with, is it in there? Watch out for T2. It comes up there. I'm having a field day with this because obviously none of the other Linux distributions, are designed from install for things like T2. There's a whole website, brilliant, called t2linux.org that you go to. I'll put it in the links in the description. You can go to and work out which distribution, how you do it. There's scripts that you need to install the Wi-Fi. It's a bit of an epic. And I know a lot of people have watched my T2 Linux video. If you want to, you've got to make a bit of a jump with them, Archie, because you're doing the keyboard stuff. It's great, but for some people it will be a bridge too far. But if you want a really good functioning OS to replace what you had before, get away from Mac, or you can still install Windows, I think, on those, and go with Linux and have it really is optimized and works really well. I'm trying to see if I can see T2 is just fired up there on the thingy. So it'll rumble in. I can't remember. I think the installation takes up to womble on for talk to you for about 4 minutes. It's just the time at the top. It's not putting anything from the cloud. It's all on that 7 gig installer file that you pull down when you download the Omarchy installer. But yeah, I was totally shocked. I've actually put it on a MacBook Air, and I've got another MacBook down there that I may put this on just to see if it works. It's one of the ones with, I don't know how this, I never got this to work, but it's got the NVIDIA card and a discrete, it's got a discrete and an NVIDIA card in it, or whatever. So it's got like a small Intel UHD card, and it's got a 2 gig NVIDIA card. I don't know if that'll work, but seeing this just works straight off the bat. This has just got integrated graphics into the chip. So it does this thing, gets to this, and it's like retrieving packages, and obviously it's doing it from the USB key, not from the cloud. But yeah, this was totally unexpected. I just thought I'd give it a go this afternoon. And I thought, the amount of, I think it took me 2 days to properly crack the getting Mint onto this box. And I just thought, well, because I read some of the stuff and it said there's T2 support. And I thought, okay, give it a go. But it's an interesting point. If you've got a powerful T2 laptop now, and some of them got USB-C ports, they're quite modern, some of them. You've got no support going forward. Tahoe's gone. You can't use it. And so, they're leaving Intel behind, basically with their M1 chips. So over time, a highly optimized Linux system on your machine gives it new life. I'm bouncing. I still use a Mac for a lot of my work, but yeah, I'm sort of like, Schrodinger's cat. Like I'm half in, half out with this. It's sort of like I'm spending a lot more time on Omarchy now than any Linux distribution previously, because it's just so good. It's a testament to the people working on this and who actually, developing it. To DHH, the guy who's behind it. But there's a lot of people are looking at the Git thing today, and there's other people obviously helping and behind this. But yeah, so it's going to keep banging through here. And it was really nice when it rebooted. We'll come to that bit in a minute, because it sort of guides you through it. This is literally designed for people like me in many ways, who just wants to install an operating system and start to work with it, play on it. Do what you want with it. I don't know. I didn't get as far as installing Steam or anything like that. I don't know how well Steam would do on that chip that's in there. It's integrated an old school UHD Intel chip, so I don't think it would be great. Running building blocks. Yeah, it's slower than it's a slower install than it is on my main machine, but it's still pretty snappy. So it'll keep going through it. And there you go. It goes into the screensaver mode. It's got a great screensaver on this, and it's done. So it took 4 minutes, 20 seconds to install, and there was nothing. So I'm doing the reboot now. That's not bad for an install in the first place, let alone it being on an old machine like this. So it's booting back up now. And obviously the first thing you do, you need to connect to Wi-Fi. This is what threw me. So Linux T2, straight in there. It actually tells you. And give it a minute and it'll come up. When I did this before, you absolutely couldn't do it. This is the comedy part. because I think the E doesn't work on this keyboard. So I thought, because I just use QWERTY as the password, and every time I type QWERTY, I think I'm typing, but I'm not. I'm typing QWRTY. So when I switch keyboards in a minute, because I thought I'd put a wide keyboard on it now I could, I had a bit of a problem. So there we are, we're in. So it does flash up in the top corner, welcome, you need to update your system, and click here to set up your Wi-Fi. And then it goes, when you've set up your Wi-Fi, do it. And so into Wi-Fi, find it, and it is working straight off the bat. I found the network down there. Put that in. And it's like tab and then spacebar to get into it. Then you type your password in. And then it's return. This TUI is a bit weird. You have to learn it. It's like S to scan, question mark, and that's done. Then click on that. Bring up the password, which is, and off it does. So now it's going to pull down all the latest updates and patches. So if it takes a bit of time, but it brings in all the patches and everything like that, and brings it up to date. I mean, I'm pretty impressed by this. I mean, they're pretty impressed by Omarchy in the first place. I mean, it's great for creative stuff. Obviously, the developers, it's brilliant for developers, but just in an operating system in its own right. I mean, I know it's Arch, and I know that, you know, the DHH guy, he's built all this on top of it, but purely as a user of operating systems and all the shenanigans you go through with Linux to get it working, this is ridiculously simple. It's ridiculously simple. Plus, you've got a very advanced interface with Hyprland, which is a tiled Windows manager, which is really clever and a really nice way to work. But it's ridiculous. It just works. I mean, it's like the finally someone's building something and they're thinking it through. Whereas, you know, a lot of Linux distributions are fantastic and it's amazing the work people have done, but they're just general. And if you've got problems with your setup, then you've got to work it out yourself. With this, you're being a bit spoon-fed, which is in some ways great, because I think a lot of this, if I want to work now, you know, I can. I mean, this box normally will end up, and I'll do this in a separate video, I may turn this into a Plex server. So, you know, just run Omarchy as a Plex server. I've done it. If you look on the channel, I've got a couple of scripts to run Ubuntu, and that's for a very old Mac Mini. And use that as a Plex server. When you can't really do much with this machine. I mean, it's an i3, it's got 8 gig of RAM, and it's a base model. It was a presentation machine. It was used for presentation. It was basically its entire life. It was used for PowerPoints and stuff like that, and marketing presentations. So I mean, but it's been retired and been replaced by an M, with the new Mac Mini. So here you go. So it's downloading all the stuff. Some very familiar packages going in there if you're a package spotter. The Obsidian update, everything's being updated. Very good though. I mean, you know, I would watch the Linux one, the one I did with screensaver starts. Just press the space bar and it's off. But I would watch my other video and see how tricky, I mean, it can do it, but it's how tricky it is. I mean, the key thing with this is you must have the wired keyboard. If you try this with a Wi-Fi keyboard or a Bluetooth keyboard, not for Omarchy, but for the actual installation, it's the Mac. The Mac won't pick it up. So you'll be there trying to press the Alt key to get to that screen at the beginning, and it won't let you in, and you'll have all sorts of epics. So there you go. There we go. Nearly there. I should have to do a reboot. Oh, still doing stuff. But no, I mean, there's not much to say with this. Normally I'd do like a voiceover at the top of this and then just spin it, you know, speed it along. But it was worth doing this because it's just, now we've done, everything's done. Kernel's been updated, do a reboot, and then we're back. We're going to come back into it. One of the things I like about this, I know you can do this on other operating systems, but it's really clear on this, is if this reboots and doesn't work, you just hit the snapshots and you can go back and reboot. I mean, you can do that on all Linux to some degree with the snapshot thing, but it's really nice that it's right there. Okay, and we're back in. Now, is this one I've got the wrong keyboard? No, I've got the right keyboard. I think there's another video in a minute when I couldn't get back in. It's a lot slower on this than on my other machine, but it's totally usable. Totally usable. And there you go. It's the Wi-Fi. Now, this is the other thing. You can't escape out of this. This is what's really annoying. It's basically it's Q to get out of this because it's a TUI. So I'm like, you can see me struggling. So let's have a look. You got apps, install, everything works properly, packages, all that kind of business. And then I think in a second I work out it's Q again. So yeah, can't get there. I'm figuring it out. No, can't work it out. There, I've worked out that it's the Q key to kill it. So now here we go. So yeah, you're into Omarchy. You can have a look around. Look at the other videos I've done about Omarchy, and you can see what you can do now. I can't remember what I did here. Bring up, here we go, B-tops. So you can see, where are we? It's an i3 8001B. It's got, where are we? Free available. Yeah, it's not got a lot of RAM. What did I bring up there? There's ChatGPT. So we're back. I mean, once it's booted up and it's off doing stuff, it's great. It really is. It can, and this is where I went wrong. I went to try and do fast fetch just to show you the spec of the machine. And then I discovered that the H key on the keyboard, here we go, that doesn't work. No H, the H is dead. My son's keyboard's trashed. No, couldn't do it. So basically, what will happen in a minute, I'll shut down this video and I'll restart another one. I'll just show what happened in the end. No, me figuring out the keyboard was broken. Fast, vet, can't get there. Can't get there. I couldn't get there. That was hilarious. And you can't like mimic it. What I should have done is try and copy and paste an H from somewhere to finish the video off. No, can't do it. I just wanted to fast fetch to show you the actual, it's got a better, in fast fetch, it shows you the Omarchy thing and it shows you the proper, the info about the machine. So we're going to shut it down. And let me just queue up the other video. Properties, browse to, okay, this should play straight away. Here we go. This is me booting back in again. And this is where I went really wrong, when I really realized that I had a problem because the keyboard wasn't working, because now I've switched keyboards. So now I'm trying to try QWERTY. Nope. And I'm sat there thinking, what on earth's going on? And I've just typed it. And it took me a minute to figure this out. It's like proper hacking. What key could be missing? And I was looking at a keyboard and I was thinking, what? No, the Q's working, the W's working. Then something's missing when you're typing it. So I was trying shift and everything. So, and it was only when I worked out it's the E from QWERTY that's not working. I'll get there in a minute. No, and I'm like uppercase, lowercase. Couldn't figure it out. It was really confusing. I thank my son for this interlude. Because always with the gamer's keyboard, they like hammer the keys, don't they? I've just bought him a new one. He trashed that one so badly, but I thought there might be still some life in it. All the RGB in the keyboard's dead. He spilled a drink over the top of it. I mean, it was literally, have I got it now? No, I'm still going. But I mean, even those keyboards are like sort of, they need to be totally robust to do this. I'm trying to see if I can crack this. It was literally like war games. Me trying to go, what could it be? What could it be? I've got it. There we are. So the dead E. So now I'm on a keyboard that the H works. So now I'll just bring up the other things. I think I just wanted to show you fast fetch. So here we go. So let's, I think, bring up B-tops. Apps. What was I doing? About. system apps. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, I'm still like reeling in the joy of actually working out for I think those BTOPs. So now I wanted to do fast fetch. There you go. And there you go. So there's your Omarchy logo. All that effort was for that. It shows you at the top there, Intel UHD graphics, 360, 1920 by 1080. It's got 32 gig of RAM. Oh no, this got 32 gig of RAM in this one. I actually upgraded the RAM on this. There you go, Hyprland. And that's it. There you go. So I'll just stop this now. And I just realised you could do this through System as well. And then I'll just sort of give you my final thoughts. Okay, so there you go. So another big win for Omarchy there. So it's brought this thing, this old T2 Mac back to life. Well, not back to life. I mean, I had Linux running anyway, and you could have run Windows. But the thing is, that's so stupidly simple to do. I'm in the view now. I'm going to be doing my other laptops because Omarchy is great. I love it. It's a great system. But obviously, if you hunt around, because the T2 Macs can't be supported, and I don't even think there's a way for them to do that OLCP patch thing that they do. There's a big community. If you look back at my videos, I used to do a lot of work with Mac 5.1s to get them working. But I that was the stepping off point with Linux for me, because I just couldn't be bothered to muck around and force an operating system onto something when you can use something like Omarchy or Linux and put those operating systems onto like a Mac 5.1 and things like that, and they work. So this is brilliant. So a T2 Mac Mini, Mac laptop, it just put the USB in from Omarchy and you're good to go. So there you go. I hope that's useful. And yeah, another big win for Omarchy. So yeah, good work, DHH and all the rest of you. Amazing. Anyway, thanks for watching.